Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas. The Lotus Elan was introduced as a road car back in 1962 with a revolutionary chassis design and a technically advanced twin-cam engine, also used in the Lotus Cortina and many other racing cars of the time. Lotus Elans are renowned for their nimble handling and as a result can mix it on track with much larger and more powerful cars. Some last-minute checks and changes to the Investchem Formula Fords before it's time for visors down and engines on as they head to the track for Heat 1. But what had happened in qualifying?
I came down to the last turn and the bottom suspension broke. One of the bolts on the bottom of the suspension broke. I think I managed to get a lap or two in there, so it started getting quicker and quicker. So as I believe I'm third, which is okay. But we'll see. We'll just sort it out, do some wheel alignment, and I'm sure we'll be there.
Lap 3, coming out of the hairpin, selected third, and yeah, gearbox made funny noises and there was no drive, so it looks like we've lost third gear or a selector or something, so we'll strip it now and have a look.
Despite his problems, Graham Hepburn will take third on the grid. Jeff Gable's in pole position with Matej Stradum qualifying just 5/100ths of a second behind him. Under a second separated the top 5 drivers in qualifying. The drivers are lined up on the grid, the lights go out, and they're off. Graham Hepburn making a great start from third and passing Stradum to take the lead into turn 1. Gable drops to second and David Jeremy is having a great start, moving up to third from 6th. Into the hairpin and Gable and Jeremy are side by side, both drivers giving it their all. Alan Mayer and Ben van der Westhuizen are also wheel to wheel through the hairpin, as are Dean Fenter and Andrew Horn. Great view from Matej Stradum as he powers past Jeff Gable in speed and sound and heads after David Jeremy. Coming into G&H Transport and Stradum makes his move on Jeremy. Further back, Alan Mayer is looking for a way past Jonathan Nash but can't quite find it yet. Jeremy pushing hard, coming into BMW Performance Parts. Maybe just a little too hard as he ends up spinning backwards off the track and into the kitty litter, and he can just sit and watch as the field stream past him. Into Renix Khan and Andrew Horn making a dive down the inside. Alan Mayer hasn't seen him, and Horn's nose cone is history. Looking at the replay, and you can see that Mayer was unaware of Horn turning in behind him. You can see Mayer's rear right just clipped Horn's nose cone and it came off. Luckily, this missing part has not slowed Horn down, and he is able to continue with the race. Sean Hepburn looking to make a move down the inside of Donny Lamola. They make contact, and Lamola spins in, and Hepburn ends up climbing up onto the front wheel, and the pair are wedged together. Hepburn is able to reverse and extricate himself from the Miguel. Thankfully, both cars are able to get going again. Looking at the replay, and you can see that Lamola didn't see Mayer, and it was a similar situation to that of Mayer and Horn. Up into Sassel, and Stradum leads Horn, Nash and Mayer. Horn with the inside line manages to get ahead of Nash and sets off in pursuit of Stradum. Clearly his missing nose cone is not affecting the car's handling. Coming down the hill to turn 8, and Jeff Gable and Dalen Holton pull alongside Rex Tweedy. Gable leads the trio onto the start-finish straight. Sean Hepburn has suffered some damage from his coming together with Lamola and retires his Ray. Rex Tweedy races into G&H Transport and ends up spinning his car into the oncoming traffic. Lamola behind stays to the left and picks up a position. Tweedy manages to get going again but is a position lower. Looks like Rex Tweedy has got bigger problems than anticipated as he dives into the pits to do some running repairs. On board now with Jonathan Nash as he heads through turn 1. He loses it and runs wide and goes farming in the kitty litter. Out of control, he shoots across the track and just nudges the tire wall as his car comes to a rest. Nash gets himself going again and waits patiently for the other competitors to pass and until it's safe for him to rejoin the race. Looking at the replay, and you can see just how much speed Nash was carrying as he went bouncing across the kitty litter and back across the track. Andrew Horn is now right up on the back of Matej Stradum and looking for a way past. Through Castrol Corner, and he is past the green Talon and up into second place as they climb up to Sassol. Stradum sets off in hot pursuit of the damaged Royale of Horn. It looks like Horn has got enough speed and he has managed to put a decent amount of space between him and Stradum for him not to feel under threat. Dalen Holton is pushing hard and hoping to find a way past Ben van der Westhuizen as they climb up to turn 5. Holton has the inside line and runs wheel to wheel with van der Westhuizen through the corner and towards Kenwood. There is nothing between them. Van der Westhuizen eventually has to concede and Holton takes the position. Jeff Gable leads Steve Venter into turn 8. Gable sliding around on the exit of the turn to face Venter, possibly some oil on the track causing problems. Donnie Lamola passes Gable as she comes round to complete another lap. Gable gets himself going again and pointing in the right direction. Just in time for Graham Hepburn to come past and take the checkered flag, which is waiting for him, and victory in race 1. Through turn 7, and it's Rex Tweedy and Ben van der Westhuizen who are running side by side but a lap apart. Van der Westhuizen leads them through turn 8 and to the checkered flag. Confirmation of the results, and it was Sean Hepburn who, despite his qualifying problems, managed to take the victory. Andrew Orne, who also had problems in quali, came home in second. Dalen Holton managed to beat David Jeremy to the line, but just over half a second.
The start was quite bad. There was just 4 cars going into the same corner at once, and I just saw this accident just about to happen, and luckily nothing happened. And Andrew just hauled me in. I was struggling with the 4th gear, jumping out again, just like we did at Kailami the first race. And that was my race, but the little while that we had a battle, we did very well.
I started 10th with my gearbox breaking this morning. Went back to Joburg, got another gearbox, and we got it back together again. Unfortunately, Alan Mayer and I had a bit of an incident on the first couple of laps, and I lost my nose, so I wasn't sure how the rest of the race would go. But I managed to pull it together and had a good go with Matthijs there, and then got him in the end. It was good fun.
I was hoping your aerodynamics just went awry.
I thought my aerodynamics had gone funny.
The lights go out and race 2 gets underway. Some great action from race 1, and I'm sure it will continue in race 2 as Hepburn leads the field through turn 1. Behind him, all sorts of battles are beginning to take shape. Flying down the left-hand side of Donnie Lamola comes Dean Venter, and their wheels touch as he moves ahead of the Miguel. Doesn't look like any damage has been done to either car as they both keep going. Up into turn 5, and Matthijs Stradom is coming under pressure from David Jeremy, who sets himself up to take the inside line coming into the tabletop. Stradom fights back though and retakes the position as they head towards Kenwood. Jeremy is right on his rear wheel though, and the pair are having a great duel. Through turn 7, and there's nothing between them. Behind, another battle is going on as Jonathan Nash leads Dean Venter, and the pair launch a challenge on Dalen Holton. Down the inside of turn 8, Nash goes past, Venter follows, and Holton has no answer for the pair. Through turn 1, the Formula Ford stream. Andrew Horn is pushing hard, looking for a way past Hepburn and into the lead. Climbing up to Sassel, he sets himself up for the inside line and moves alongside Hepburn. He manages to take the position, and he now has Graham Hepburn's nose cone in his gearbox as they continue to turn 6. Heading into Renexcon comes Jonathan Nash. Dean Venter has dived down to take the inside line, but Nash manages to keep ahead of the Blue Swift for now. Mayer keeping up with Venter and not getting left behind. Up into turn 5, Nash is still ahead of Venter, and it's Dalen Holton who is making a move down the inside of Mayer, but he's unable to make it work, and Mayer's position is safe for now. Dean Venter trying again to find a way past Jonathan Nash as they go through turn 6, and the pair are in a drag race through turn 7 and down to the final bend. There's nothing in it. Coming through turn 8, and it's still wheel-to-wheel action. Venter running slightly wide and unsettling the car. Alan Mayer taking advantage of the dueling pair in front of him to gain some ground as he pulls up alongside them and makes it 3 abreast down the main straight. But it will be Venter who leads them into turn 1. Holton gaining ground and chasing down Mayer. He moves to the right coming into turn 2, and he might have just found his way past the Ford 1600. This is really good close racing. Ahead of this battle, and David Jeremy has spun around on the main straight. Round turn 8, Nash leads the gaggle of unsuspecting cars who are about to come across David Jeremy, facing them in the middle of the track. Venter having to make a last-minute maneuver to avoid his teammate. Everyone is safely passed. Jeff Gable in 4th position leads this pack into turn 8. Behind him, Dalen Holton moves alongside Jonathan Nash. They race wheel-to-wheel through the corner. Nash manages to edge out a slight advantage on the straight, and he carries the momentum through turn 1. Gable's coming under some pressure from Venter as they go through Renexcon. Nash has no respite from Holton, who is still pushing hard, looking for a way past. Coming down to the final turn for the final time in race 2, it's Andrew Horn. He heads onto the start-finish straight, the checkered flag will be waiting for him, and he secures victory in race 2 of the Investchem Formula Fords. Donnie Lamola pushing hard and looking for a way past. See Fenton is Miguel. She lines herself up to take the inside line into turn 5, and she makes it work as she moves ahead of Fenter. Coming through turn 8, and Lamola has held onto her position ahead of Fenter and will cross the line to come home in 12th place. Confirmation of the results, and Andrew Horn claimed victory by just under a second from Graham Hepburn. Jeff Gable edged Dean Fenter out by 0.26 of a second to take 4th place, with Dalen Holton crossing the line half a second ahead of Jonathan Nash.
Andrew had a bit of gearbox problems. I had suspension problems, but we put it all back together, and Andrew had to battle in the first heat to come through the field, and then we had a good start the second heat. We tried to get away from the pack. He was a little bit quicker than me. He got past me, and then I tried to hang on, and I just couldn't manage.
I'll be honest, after qualifying with my gearbox, I really didn't think I stood a chance today. So yeah, to come through and do this is quite good. A big thanks to Matt Nash for loaning me a gearbox, and Hendrik and Jerry from Investchem for helping me put the thing together.
Listen, there was a group of 3 or 4 cars through the mid part of the race, and they were going 2 abreast here or there. I was a little bit behind. It was fun to watch, and I was just trying to find a place to stick my nose in. By the end of that, it was just the 2 of us, and it was...
Just ran out of laps from my side, so...
It's funny, because from my side, I think it was just the right number, maybe a lap or 2 too long.
Good race, managed to get a good start, started at 15th, and made up 10 positions, so...
I think that's it. When you look at, you started 15th, I started 16th, so race 1 was not great for either of us, it's fair to say. But to end up where we 4th and 5th at the end of the race, well done.
History in Motion is proudly brought to you by Midas Sport, Gumtree, Mitsubishi Electric, and their associated sponsors. Join us next week for more great racing from Zwartkops, with action from the Lotus Challenge, Mark Cars, Little Giants, and Pre-66 and 84 Sports and GTs. Don't miss it.